Talking about it lost access to Facebook.
Ooh.
What the hell? Hold on. Hold on. Choose what you. Okay.
No, we're there.
Okay, man. All right. Well. We are back. Herb Lewis and I, David Lorenzo Glover, a.k.a. the controversial counselor, a.k.a. C2, live in the Counselor's Corner, streaming on Facebook and YouTube. And don't forget, I think I got it in a link, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you can get notifications on, any upcoming videos and, different things like that. So whatever's going on in my YouTube world. And we're streaming from the StreamYard platform. Last Monday, we started off the February month-long broadcast dealing with self-love. Tonight's title is Self-Love. I'm on the wrong one. Self-love. Pretty much, do you know who you are? I'm a little off. Don't mind me. So, I'm totally off. So, pretty much, who you know who you are. So, last week we had Herb gave an assessment, and we kind of was trying to look at your status as far as figuring out as far as self-love. So tonight we're kind of doing the same thing, another assessment, but kind of taking it to another level to determine who you are. So remember, get your pen and paper ready, and we're going to have at it. So I'm sure there'll be more people coming in. And what I don't want to happen is we start and then people like, oh, I didn't get number one. I didn't get number two or number three. So we're going to try to kill some time and wait for some people to come on. What's going on, Herb? What's good, man?
Man, got a nice, healthy slate of questions tonight for the people. All I can say is, people, look, this is not about right or wrong answers. This is supposed to be an exercise that is fun. If we don't make these things fun, you tend not to. Well, people, let me not say you. People just tend to enjoy them less, and they think it's more work. So we want to make this, above all, we want to make this fun and enjoyable for everybody that partakes in it and everybody that listens, whether you do the exam, whether you do the questionnaire or not. 2, these are designed to help you learn more about yourself at your core. Doesn't matter what everybody else thinks about you. Doesn't matter what, your fiance, your husband, or your wife, or the world at large. We want to help you be comfortable with yourself. That way, you are able to answer your own questions about who you are, why you are like you are, and how you think. Because a lot of us, we tend to think we have everything figured out. And sometimes we have to come to the realization that we don't. And that isn't a problem. I repeat, not having everything figured out is not a problem. The problem comes in when you are unwilling to figure out what it is that you don't have figured out and how you can go about figuring it out. So those are the type of things that we want to be able to convey with these series of questions. And then next week, I'll have a coup de grace, no pun intended, for everybody. And really, I think that's probably something that everybody's going to want to be tuned in for, because that's not going to be the ordinary kind of Q&A. Hopefully next week gets you to really reflect upon yourself, your life, where you've been and where you're going and where you continue to go on your life's path. So, those are some of the things that we want people to be able to take from this. So, like I said, people, sit back, relax, enjoy. Don't make this stressful. It's not designed to be, we just want you to enjoy it.
All right, let me give a couple shout outs because for whatever reason, StreamYard had kicked me out a couple times before the show, so I can't see the comments, so I'm looking at them from my phone. Good evening, Ebony. Hey, Rebecca, how you doing? Good evening, Latoya. Taya, how you doing? Hello, Marcia. I'm thanking you all for joining tonight. Live, our open court discussions in the counselor's corner. So I hate when you had those last minute little quirks with technology right before everything was fine up until that point there, right before stuff kicking me out and all that stuff. So I'm trying to hopefully we'll be able to get through this whole broadcast. Hey, Anita, how you doing? Thanks for joining us on the panel.
Been a minute. Hi, everybody.
Good evening, young lady.
We got someone called Bro on here. How you doing, Bro?
I'm good, sir. Thank you.
All right, appreciate it. Hey, Rebecca, how you doing?
Hey, Sweet Pea.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, B.
All right.
Hey, Herb.
Hold on, David. Let me jump in here. Rebecca, say hi to a long lost childhood friend.
Don't do it, Herb. I'm sitting here quiet. I don't want that.
Who is that? Who is that?
I've been commanded to shut my mouth regarding that, so I'm going to do such.
Well, no, who is that?
I've been commanded to shut up.
Who are you? All right. Well, I'm assuming he couldn't have been that important.
Okay.
All right, so Herb, the floor is yours. When you get ready to dive into these assessment questions or survey.
All right. Hopefully everybody has their writing utensils and paper ready. I'll give you another minute to gather those items. David and I were just hashing up the Super Bowl results and our perspectives on that, but we'll hash that out some other time, as he said.
Well, my thing is, it's hard always to bet against Tom Brady, and I knew that they would be prepared. And like I said, key things when you're missing a couple offensive linemen, and Mahomes was constantly on the run all evening long. So plus he had the toe injury, so he wasn't his typical self. But he's not making any excuses. I just think it would have probably been a closer game if they'd have had their entire offensive line intact.
Hey, I'm just saying, didn't stop them against Buffalo. They look pretty good.
Buffalo never been under them bright lights, so they was gonna get through Buffalo anyway, and they'll get through them again next year too. They're gonna do the same thing next year, get that fire, and then they're gonna take an L.
I think Buffalo's gonna be retooled and ready. The major garden variety Bills of the last decade or so, believe that. But that's just my position. I'm a Dallas fan, so hey, I'm focused southwest of where I am right now. So, all right, let me get started with the first question. This is, of course, a relational psychology test, and there are no right. Let me preface this by saying there are no right or wrong answers. As I said prior, these are questions that are designed to get you to know who you are intrinsically, so you can adjust it to the wind. You tack into it, and you can sail on the sea as you would, trying to enjoy your life. All right, the first question is your favorite color and 3 deep reasons why. So we'll give you some time to get that situated, get those answers written down.
What was the question?
Your favorite color and 3 deep reasons why.
3 deep reasons.
Deep
Yeah.
reasons.
Like the song by Earth, Wind, and Fire, Reasons that we are here. And when everyone, at least on the panel and in the chat, is complete, let me know, and I will proceed on to question number 2.
I hate to get 3 reasons why I like the color that I like.
Believe me, it all shakes out in the end, just like last week. You don't
Okay, I'm
want
gonna put some thought into it, but
If anyone needs more time, please let me know. If not, I will move on to question number 2.
okay.
All right, question number 2. Your favorite animal and why?
Oh, that's easy. Okay.
Favorite animal and why? I'll give you about a minute to jot down the answer. Look like we're missing a couple normal suspects from the panel. They'll probably join later. All right, if everyone is done.
You know, people are always late for class. You know how it is.
It's just 8 o'clock here. People just finishing dinner.
Rebecca,
Show
you was on
overwork.
time. Don't make excuses for them.
So because I get home at 5:15 sharp, and somebody's cooking my dinner. So
Got them at the ready, huh? David, Latoya saying she needs to come in.
She's in. Sorry
All right.
about that.
Latoya.
Talking mess about me. I'm sitting backstage watching
I
you.
ain't gonna let
It's
them.
just-
Thank you, Herb.
It's just like somebody sitting at the professor's door and the door is locked and they're like, oh, that such and such is outside the classroom.
I hate
right,
when that
question.
happens.
Question number 3 is a form or body of water. Name one. Name one. A form or body of water that you like. Almost gave up the answer.
So when they say form and body of water, so it could be like rain, snow, like lake, river.
Correct. Any of those. I'll give people another 15, 20 seconds, and then I'll start to reveal the answers or what the answers say about you.
There's only 3 this time.
Yes. We even made it shorter for you.
Uh-oh.
I know. The first one was hard, or at least it was hard for me.
It was easy for me. Then he read out the answers, and I was like, well, that sounds about right.
No, I mean the first question this go round was hard for me.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I struggle with that one too. I'm like, my favorite color and reasons why it's my favorite color. I don't know.
all right. If everybody is set, I will give you the synopsis of why it is you potentially chose the answers that you chose.
Okay.
Number 1, for me, it was blue. For calmness, serenity, and it encompass openings to things for me, and the freedom to move and be seen, or I'm sorry, to move and be free. And what it symbolizes was your ability to deal with certain situations in your calmness, your readiness to deal with certain issues that might crop up in your life.
Okay, what about the rest of our colors?
Only one favorite color.
Yeah. So what does if blue, if that speaks to what you are, what about everybody else's choice of color?
No. For me, that's what it was. The color in and of itself symbolizes what it is for you. I hope I'm making that clear. If not, let me know.
You're not.
So wouldn't it be like your
you're not.
view? The first one would be like your view of your personality.
I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. I skipped that. I'm sorry. That's correct. I'm sorry. Let me thank you, David, for that correction.
Oh, no problem.
I'm sorry. Yes. If you wrote out color, cross it out and write view of my own personality.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I missed that. Thank you, David, for that catch.
Oh, no problem.
okay.
So let me.
I guess I still don't really get it. I said pink was my favorite color. The reasons why
Me too.
I said it is because it's girly. It looks good for flowers and it goes with everything. So
Is that like your personality?
Right.
I think so. I go with everything.
Yes.
And
So
I'm girly.
The girly girl.
My name is Lily, and that's like a flower. So I guess.
So for me, I chose blue, and I said blue is less is more to me. It's basic blue, a color that you can add variety to, goes with many things. And also, and although you may feel blue, you can always turn your day around. So those were, I guess, part of my personality.
Okay.
All right. Number 2 was cross out animal and write view of my perfect mate.
I guess I heard all the questions wrong because I said dog, and the reason why is because I said faithful.
Okay.
No. What you're writing down is correct, but the reasons behind it are symbolized by what she's saying, and I'll reveal who the individual is. What she's saying is if you chose dog, that's the view of your perfect mate. In other words, you want a mate that's loyal.
So far,
I'm
feeling
still
good.
stuck on number 1.
You know, I don't. These series of questions.
I'm not understanding. Like,
I mean,
for me, I
picked 3
picked
favorite
pink.
colors instead of 1, so I already broke the rule.
Like,
Okay,
for me,
so-
I chose pink because
And why
it's
did you
pretty
choose pink?
smooth and subtle. Because
Okay.
it's pretty smooth and subtle.
So is
It's
that your
passionate and
personality?
it's romantic.
Is that your
I
personality?
don't know. Is it? I don't know.
Oh, you would know.
Only
I
you're
have-
going to answer that. We can't answer that.
I mean, am I smooth and subtle? I'm smooth. Sometimes I ain't
Yeah,
that
I don't know
subtle.
about that subtle. I don't know about that shit. But
Latanya,
I
where'd
mean, I
you
am
pick?
passionate.
Where'd you pick, Latoya? We lost you. Hey, we can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm steady talking. I said purple for royalty, blue for calming, and black for slimming. I don't know.
Is that your personality?
Yeah, for the most part. That's
Well-
me in a nutshell.
First one.
What did you get for number 2? If you want to disclose it, if you don't, that's okay.
I said a shark.
Okay, and is that your view of your own personality?
Yeah, I'm a go-getter and I want somebody who matches me.
Okay, that's fine. Like I said, people, there are no right or wrong answers. This is just supposed to be a glimpse into your personality from your perspective, from your own answers. Me personally, I chose cat. And the reason why I chose a cat is because of this. They're affectionate, they're self-reliant and smart, and they do not require a lot to live.
I chose a dog because they're good companions and good for emotional support, and they're loyal.
so that's what
That's
you would want in your mate.
fit together because we've been on this panel long enough to see aspects of each other's personality and how some of these answers actually play into what we've chosen.
And so for me, I chose a lion, and I said because it's the king, like to me, the top animal. It reminds me and represents strength, and it's a force not to be reckoned with. So, and I guess assuming that's what I would look for in a mate, somebody that's top of the line, that's strong, and somebody not to be fucked with.
And see, and there's nothing wrong because these are the things that we intrinsically want in a mate. So there's, like I said, there's no right or wrong answers. Just things we want in somebody that we plan on spending time with, significant time with. All right, number 3 was to cross out water and put view of my own sexuality.
Yeah, buddy. Now, don't speak at one time.
Well, I put a lake.
I don't understand.
I said a lake because it is contained. Because I always wanted to go swim in a lake, but I'm afraid to because it's just I feel like I'm be eaten by a shark. So I would prefer a lake versus an ocean. I hate to drive in the rain, so I picked a lake because I like to go fishing, and it's self-contained. So I'm not exactly sure what that says about my sexuality.
Let's reference last week's show when you were talking about you would try something with your husband once. That's contained. Does it make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So, like I said, in order for us to crack any shell that we're in, we have to be able to open up. And it's not to the world. A lot of us are afraid to open up to what we are to ourselves. It's like the song by Billy Joel called The Stranger. And it's a song I always reference because it has a lot of truth in it. It's the face that when we're home alone and nobody's around, no kids, no nothing, we look in the mirror and we see this individual. And sometimes we say, you know what? I don't like what I see in the mirror. I don't like what I feel. But we never examine, unless you've been to therapy, on that level as to why we don't like ourselves or we have these feelings of moroseness or this malaise about us. We never really get up, or let me not say we, some people never really get up in the morning when they hit that floor. They're like, I'm ready to take on what life is going to throw at me. I don't care if it's a wrecking ball not attached to anything and it's rolling down the street and I got to run uphill against it. No, a lot of people just aren't ready for that. They get out the bed and they just say, I gotta go to work. I gotta do this. The bills I do. My wife or my husband is nagging me. I gotta pay this. I gotta. That everything is a drag to them, and you just see it in their face. This is why some people look old before they're done. You just see it. You look like life is just beating you down. Do you ever have any fun? Do you ever enjoy anything? It reminds me of the movie Bucket List, where Morgan Freeman's character, and they talk about finding the joy in life. That's what it reminds me of. So me, I'm all, whatever happens to me, I'm always looking forward to the next thing. Doesn't matter what it is, And I'll be the first to tell you there are times that I've sacrificed, like I haven't went to family reunions or things of that nature. And I was just like, you know what? I'll do this now so I can engage in these things later. And the people already know, when I spoke about the passing of my mother, how all her offspring were able to get together. And I think for us, at least I'll speak for myself, for me, it was kind of cathartic because I didn't really know how I was going to act. I know when my mother was when she was going through cancer, it was taxing for the entire family. But we managed to get through that. And when she passed, I think the fact that we had her cremated and she wasn't there helped out a tremendous amount. So when we all got back to our brother's house, it was, nobody was sad. We sat there, nephews, brothers, great nephews, great grandchildren. I mean, I think we had, at my brother's house, I think we had 4 generations of people there that all spawned from one woman. And I tell you, there was no more greater feeling in my life of serenity, calmness, and peace. No tears were shed. The only thing we were missing was the fact that we didn't have any Pepsi to open up and pour out as a libation for it because my mother loved Pepsi. Matter of fact, I think I might go invest in some Pepsi stock, just because of that. But I had chose lake and snow because for me, the wintertime symbolizes healing. Usually it's a quiet time and it gives me time to genuflect on things in my life. So that's kind of what I want. And when I'm engaged in sex, you know, it's for me, it's not about dominating, it's about connecting with somebody. You know, it's about me and that individual going through a process that allows us to become one, even if nothing else results of that. This is why I'm more picky now with who I deal with sexually than I used to be when I was in my mid-20s to early 30s. Actually, early 30s. I didn't even have sex in my early 30s. I went through the period of 6 years where I've said before, where I had to get right with myself because I was consistently picking somebody for the wrong reasons. And it wasn't until I actually had a pregnancy scare at the age of 29 that I said, okay, you know what? I have to sit down and I have to figure out why it is that I'm choosing the women that I'm choosing. And, you know, it reminds me of the whole Andy Dufresne getting out of Shawshank Redemption. I had to go through 6 years of celibacy, and I came out on the other end sparkling clean. So I found this one pretty good. And the lady who I got these from, her name is Teal, Teal Swan, SWAN. She's on YouTube, and if you're on Facebook and you want to follow her, just punch in her name, it'll come up. She has just a plethora of things that she puts out that will help any individual. I don't care who you are, you know, look at themselves from a different perspective. And like I said, next week I'm gonna put a cherry on top with something that I came up with I was just in a random conversation with somebody, you know, Facebook Messenger, and the individual was talking about that they don't see any value in themselves. They don't know why somebody would want to date them. And I think some of us have all reached that point in our lives where we ask ourselves, why does an individual like me? You know, why does an individual want to be with me? You know, and this probably happens more for some women, you know, when they get to a point where they feel like they're just dealing with guys just for sex, or the guys are using them just for sex. If it wasn't for sex, would a guy actually even want me? Like, why did they choose me? And this is why I always talk about, you know, your utility belt, you know, icebreakers, you know, what makes you attractive? What makes you, you know, somebody want to be in your company, even if it's just at a friend's capacity. What would make somebody call you up and say, hey, I'm going here, I got an extra ticket, you want to come? What would make somebody do that for you? You know, these are the type of things this is why I always tell people, you know, go out and volunteer. Life happens out there. It's like Kevin Samuel said, life doesn't happen in your house. Life happens outside of your house. You go to a job, you leave your house. You go grocery shopping, you leave your house. You go to an amusement park, you leave your house. You go to a concert, you leave your house. You want to go swimming, you leave your house. You want to go fishing, you want to go bowling, you want to go play golf, you want to go to a football game, basketball game. It requires you to leave your house. So a lot of us, you know, when we leave our house, we kind of guard it. And I understand that, you know, this is a crazy world we live in. I'm not saying you have to have access from, or everybody has to be able to have access to you. I'm saying go out, and when you walk through the garden, which is the world, don't be afraid to pick the flower up and smell it. It's not gonna hurt you.
Hold up, hold up. We got I don't want them to let them off the hook. I mean, I feel if they answered the questions, they need to. Well, that's up to them if they feel like disclosing. It's just a survey. I mean, it doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but I want to hear from Brolic T. I want to hear, I don't know if Anita's froze or whatever.
I was looking at her face.
I said, is she gonna dare blink or anything?
I
said, is she dead?
I was just like, she holding up those pretty damn good. All right, you know, hey.
Yeah, I mean, I'll share. Okay. I don't have no problem in sharing. Like, I'm cool with who I am, and there's always room for personal growth. But I don't know what this has to do with my sexuality.
Well, just tell us what it is, and we can try to work it out. We can see.
I'm getting there. I chose rain because it's refreshing, it's new. It's you never touch the same raindrop twice.
Oh damn, girl. Hey.
You
makes sense.
You can't see when I'm crying in the rain. and kissing in the rain is sweet and sensual and romantic and all that stuff.
So that kind of go along with the things that you said with your sexuality. You don't think
Yeah.
so?
I mean,
She be out there dancing.
romantically, yeah, I guess.
But even the kissing part and all that stuff, so there's a lot of stuff that ties into
Yeah.
sexuality. So I think that was it was pretty clear cut.
Yeah, I agree.
Frolic T was
All
good.
I ain't ashamed of my game. I said the ocean.
Damn.
Okay, what about the ocean?
I mean, I like the ocean. It's broad, it's deep, it's never ending. I
See,
mean,
and
not
now that we
never
know
ending,
these
but
answers are tied to your sexuality, it's very, just like
no, but I mean, I am open with my sexuality, so I mean, it fits.
yeah.
Okay, he says deep is
Well,
never
stupid.
ending.
That's how when she said that, my sister. Yeah.
I don't mean never ending as it doesn't have an ending, but you know, like it's vast.
Hey, be proud.
Well,
Be proud.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm proud. Ain't no shame in my game.
Oh shit.
Shit, I turn men and women when I go out, and I'm cleaned up nice. It is what it is.
So for me, I said peaceful, romantic. Well, I chose the lake, and I said
You chose the
peaceful.
lake too?
Yeah, peaceful, romantic, and I said it's sort of a getaway spot for isolation. Just like I don't know, you'll typically see masses of people at the lake. It could be. It's not like I ever go to the lake, so but that could be in my mindset that like if you go to a lake, it's kind of peaceful.
Lake.
Yeah.
Somebody come to the lake.
So that was
I
my
don't-
thinking.
I probably go to Lake Ontario probably once or twice a year, but generally when I go, it's usually at night. Usually I'll step out to the lake to try and catch a celestial events. I know the over the last year there was supposed to be the aurora borealis was supposed to be descended far enough south to where we could actually catch a glimpse. So out at
The
Alcott,
lake
which is
at night is so wonderful. It's just very
Yeah.
peaceful.
Yeah.
Very peaceful.
so and the only reason really I know about the place I do in terms of the location is because I used to be in a foster home out that way. So I know the area well. A lot of people are surprised when I actually talk about it. They're like, you know all kinds. I say, yes, I do. And actually, there's a nice little stand out there that in the summertime they sell caramel popcorn, which is probably some of the best I've had. And I've had Fiddle Faddle. This blows Fiddle Faddle away. So I try and get out there, at least once a year to try and get some. I think the name is Buyer's Popcorn Stand, and it's right out literally like village town. I guess it is now. Population is probably about 200 or 300 people, and I mean it's very small. Known mostly for it's the fishing derby and a polar bear swim for those of us who are in the Western New York area. The polar bear swim always occurs in Alcott, so and that's always a worthy cause. All of that money, I believe, goes to a charitable entity. I'm not sure which entity that is. So, and you're always going to hear me talk about not-for-profit organizations and things of that nature because I do sit on treasure as a Niagara Falls Community Lion. So, like I tell people, get out and enjoy life, man. Whatever it is, that you think you might not enjoy, try it once. Can't kill you. Unless it's some arsenic or some cyanide, then I'd recommend not doing it. But I shouldn't have to say that to adults. So,
All right.
I found these kind of refreshing, and like I said, a glimpse into, and especially for me, I was like, I'm sitting there doing this. When I first discovered these, I was like, okay, this might be something that might be worthy of bringing to the masses. And I ran it by Dave, and Dave said, let's go with it. So I figured, why not the month of February? Everybody's out here, quote unquote, searching for love. So I figured, what better way for an individual to show love other than to themselves first? Because I think we get caught up in loving everybody else more than we do ourselves, and that's okay. I'm not saying that's wrong or right, but sometimes we give so much of ourselves, and when we don't get that replenished, we grow resentful. So this is why I always tell people, I was gonna say we got a DJ in there. This is why I always tell people, restrict time and access to yourself, because everybody is not looking to pour into you what they take out. And if you have people like that in your life, get them out your life. I'll be the first to tell you. You don't want nobody that's a leech. You want somebody that's going to reciprocate. So, when you give, they give, you feel replenished, you wake up refreshed, ready to tackle the world.
So, which brings me to some of the talking points that I had posted during the week. And one of the things when we talk about self-love, we talk about your physical, eating to live, not living to eat, getting your workout on, getting enough rest, all things that that's valuable for our physical, especially as we get older. Because I don't know about y'all, you see a lot of people, they dropping dead at early ages now, whatever. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, it's starting to get scary when you have people in their late 40s, 50s, where, the life expectancy should be like at least in your late 70s, hopefully closer to early 80s. But now, I mean, and I know with the COVID, that has a lot to do with it too, but it's just, period, when you think about cancer, diabetes, and all of those other factors too. So, being on top of your physical, and we all slip up. I know I could be doing good, and then one little thing, if I get thrown off 1 or 2 days, then it's done. Then I got to start all back over again, and starting back over ain't easy, especially once your body get used to it and you start feeling good. Like over the summer during this pandemic, I was walking, and at one point I would walk and I would like, man, my back would be killing me. But then I start working out the kinks and I started doing good. Then I went a couple days without doing it, and it's like starting over again. And some people say, the hell with it. And they say, hey, if I'm overweight, I'm overweight. Oh, well. And they just don't put into it. But I still think it's worthy of trying to watch what you eat, work out, get something in, do something to kind of stay active.
The funny thing about that, there's a lot of people that struggle with weight loss. And you have people that, they're trying to lose 30, 40 pounds, and they look at it as a one-time event. And I always tell people, because my weight tends to fluctuate depending on what my schedule is, the time of year it is. So what I always tell people is this: if you're looking to lose in excess of 15 to 20 pounds, look at it in increments of half a pound a day. If you lose half a pound a day in a month, you can drop 10 pounds. So it's the old adage, baby steps to a bigger goal. And that's all for me. That's how I look at weight loss. 12 years ago, I was going out for the Border Patrol, and they had a fitness requirement. At that time, I wasn't working, and I was 226. I had cut my calorie intake down from what I was eating to probably about 2,000. Cut my carbs down to about 50, 60 grams a day, lean meats, very little sugars, and I was cross-trained. So I was working out about an hour and a half every day. That was my job, literally. That was my job. I went from 226 down to almost 200 pounds. I'm not saying everybody has to do that. I'm just saying that it can be done. The whole thing is getting started. Just like David said, you don't get them kinks at first. You might get sore, and if you are sore, that means you're overdoing it a little bit. So just rein it in just a little bit. But that's those small steps. Once you're going, you're gonna wake up in the morning. You're gonna say, I can't wait to get to my workout, because you're going to see the results. And I know some fitness experts will say, don't weigh yourself every day. I do, because for me, it gives me immediate feedback into what's effective and what isn't effective. So I know immediately if what I did the prior day works. And if what I did the prior day works, then I know to replicate that. So I'll continue to get the results that I desire. And one of the things I found out was it helps me break through any plateaus that I might have. And a plateau, for those of you who don't understand what that means in terms of working out, a plateau means when you've hit a certain point and you can't lose weight anymore, no matter what you do. If what you do the day before, the weeks before, works, you'll crash to any plateau that you have. And once you do that, you will see that weight loss or whatever it is, whatever other goal it is that you have in mind. So, like they always tell you, have something to do and look forward to doing it. I'm a proponent of keeping lists. I can't tell you how many lists I create. So for me, it's always something that I have to do, whether it's me developing the many games that I'm trying to come up with, writing riddles, clues. My mind is always engaged to the point where sometimes I have to force myself to not think. I know that sounds just weirdly insane, but there are days where I just need to be able to just pop in the movie and just say, okay, you know what, sit here and do absolutely nothing. Because I'll have dream cycles and I wake up with some just pieces of dreams and just seem like they're just jigsaw puzzled together and they don't make any sense. And I just listening to another YouTuber named Ron Wills, he was talking about writing down your dreams. And that's something I took to, and I have a dream book here that's going to help me pretty much look into the dreams and with the symbolism behind them. So my mind is always engaged in some way, shape, or form. Like I literally need to just shut myself down sometimes. So that's why I always pray twice, so I can clear out the mental clutter, so to speak, that I have in my mind. But that's just me.
All right. We got Sherelle on here. What's good, mofo?
I'm winding
Birthday.
down from this.
How was your birthday?
My birthday has been amazing. Listen, I celebrate the whole month because the Super Bowl just happened yesterday
not you
night.
again.
About that. I don't give a damn what nobody else
Hold on.
Look,
Let me say, is this a woman's thing? Is this a woman thing?
I don't
that
care.
Y'all celebrate the whole month?
No, because you can celebrate yours a whole month if you want to too, and you a big old dude. No, it's not just a woman thing. You can do what you want to do.
Who peed in your Cheerios this morning?
Nobody. You did. If you talking about me and celebrating my birthday the whole month, you did it right now. That you.
That's okay. I celebrate mine for the whole month too.
Anybody, listen, man, woman, whoever it is, you can celebrate yours for the whole. You can celebrate yours for the whole year if you want to. All this lack and stuff, that's on y'all. I'm choosing to make all the choices for me is gonna be the ones that I want. I'm celebrating all month, so ain't no happy.
So let me ask y'all this: while y'all celebrating, and if you have a man, he's supposed to partake in that all month long. These shenanigans all
care
month
what
long.
He do. This about him. It's about me. He could do what he want to do. He do what he want to do. We talking about my birthday. I don't give a damn about what he do. I'm talking about what I'm doing. Now, if listen, depending on what he wants, he gonna participate or not. So, if he wants some accolades and good loving, he better get to participating. Other than that, get out the way. Let me do my thing. See you next month, nigga.
All right, sorry for interrupting your flow. So I know you came on Thursday night. You was getting it in. You was getting it started. So how did Friday work out for you?
Friday was beautiful. So Thursday night was the pregame. I had other friends that was like, hey, I ain't seen you. It's the day before your birthday. So yeah, had my wine ready, had my blunt roll, had some nice, chicken frying. I was cool. The day of my birthday, I was taken out, went to a nice fancy restaurant, which I was very impressed because, a lot of restaurants aren't, serving in. So this was a pretty swanky restaurant, and they are, but they were still really, really good about observing, safety rules. Like we could see other people, but we weren't in their vicinity. All of the wait staff had on masks. So it was just a beautiful thing. So, and I was looking thusly. So yes, all eyes in the place were on me, wondering what the occasion was. And I did not mind letting them know what it was. So yes, it was lovely. It was a lovely time.
That's good. That's good. So you still got a few more days to go, huh?
Yeah. Listen, I'm planning a big. I'm already planning for my 50th birthday. I love the fact that I'm 49. I can't wait till I can say I'm 50. I can't wait. And so, as far as I'm concerned, I got 363 days just about to I got something planned for y'all. I'm doing it, and I could tell you what it is because y'all not gonna believe me, and people gonna forget about it. So I could say it right now. It's not gonna make a difference. So on my birthday next year, my 50th birthday, I'm doing a live pole dance. Yes, I am. I shall be taking pole dance class all through the year. Yes, I'm dropping that jank live on you mofos. I might charge for admission too. Yes, yes.
You wow.
It's gonna be nice and
I'm
choreographed and
here
everything.
for
Oh,
that.
and it ain't gonna be no shy. Listen, some people know that club used to be my old stomping grounds. But that now I'm 49, I could say that because I have lived. I've done some stuff. Like, yes, back in the day, I was a stripper. Well, we're gonna go ahead and resurrect that because I feel damn sexy for what's going on right now. So yeah, that's what it is. That's one of the things that I'm working on to
Speaking of that, did you
mofos
answer
next
question
year.
number 3? Did you hear the questions?
I did not hear the questions. I
Okay.
didn't.
Well, we can do a live fire one if you want to. Question number
Yeah.
3 was this: a form or body of water. It could be rain, snow, ice, ocean, or lake. Pick one.
And tell us why.
You're talking about me right now picking one?
That's,
Mhm.
Oh,
they're putting you on the
rain.
spot.
So rain. Rain. No, I ain't never on the spot. Rain.
Uh,
I love rain. Rain
Why?
doesn't bother me at all. So I love rain because water is the bringer of life. I'm a water bearer, and so when it is raining, things are being replenished. Bad shit is being washed the fuck away. Uh, uh, and so yeah, I'm not sad in the rain. You know, yeah.
all right. The
So
synopsis behind that is the view you have of your own sexuality.
hello, the giver of life. Hello.
Yes, there's the reason.
Yeah.
You were
Okay.
just
Cool.
celebrating the birth of your most recent grandchild, so it stands to reason.
Yeah.
Some other
Surreal.
stuff
So
you
what was
said too.
question 1 and 2?
Number 2 was
I'll
your
say that. I'm sorry,
favorite
say that again.
animal and why.
Say again.
Oh, okay.
Your favorite animal and why.
Does it have to be like a real animal?
Be whatever you want it to be,
My
baby girl.
favorite animal is a unicorn.
Why?
I've been talking to unicorns because they're the holders of innocence and bringers of purity and magic. And so I've been talking to unicorns since I was a little girl. That was my escape from the abuse. Was
And that
somewhere to
speaks
harvest
to
and
the
harness.
type of man you want in your life.
Oh, well, I mean, hey, whatever. That's better than having a jackass. Oh yeah, okay.
The only problem with that is this: there's no such thing as a physical unicorn, which
Well,
isn't a
here go the
bad
thing.
thing.
It's not a problem. Here's the thing. It's not a problem because I asked that very specific question. So it's not a, the unicorn is about what it represents. Innocence is
Right?
a very real thing. Somebody keeping your
No, no, no,
innocence
no,
and
no.
protecting your
That
heart.
that
That's
is
very real.
no. That is true. But the other aspect, meaning the perfect mate for you, doesn't exist. That's the other
They don't.
facet.
They don't.
No,
Not if a
not,
lot of listen, I could take applications. They could try. I enjoy that
right,
part.
and that's the point. That's exactly the
I
point.
enjoy the try. Like, yeah, you can try. But anybody that's looking to be the perfect person, because see, here's the thing: I'm not looking for the perfect person because I'm not perfect.
No, no,
So,
no, no. Not the perfect person. The perfect mate.
I don't even know if I believe that exists. I just
And,
believe that,
no, and
people
that's what I'm
deal
saying.
with what they can deal with.
No, and that's what I'm saying. The unicorn fits that. There's understand. There's no right or wrong reason. I'm sorry, right or wrong answer for this. It's just a
Well, I mean,
symbolization
you
of.
started off saying what was wrong with my ass. I get it. Okay, what was question number 1?
Question number 1 is what's your
I'm sorry.
favorite color and 3 reasons why.
So that is an extremely difficult answer for me. A difficult question for me to answer only because
Well, this one
my
had a
favorite
rainbow,
color
so
changes.
it can't be more
My favorite
difficult
color
than that.
changes. Like my eyes are hazel. That when you look at them in a different light, you're gonna catch a different hue And so I don't have a per se favorite color, but whenever I go into Michael's, because I'm a jewelry maker, so whenever I go into Michael's, my eye is always caught by the bling of the blue. Always. That's never been a favorite color of mine until I started doing jewelry, but other than that, I love all colors. I don't have a favorite.
And what the synopsis said is that's just a view of your own personality. That's all.
So we all caught up now. So now we on question number 4 all together.
No,
Or
that
do
was
y'all
only-
know all the
No,
questions
that was
already?
that was only
That was
three.
Oh,
it.
it was only 3.
It was only
It was only 3.
Yeah, it was only 3.
and I didn't develop this. There's a lady called, her name is Teal Swan. She goes by the name of Teal Swan, and she can be found on Facebook or on YouTube. And I don't know if she developed these. I don't know if she pulled them from someone else. But like I said, I found them intriguing. When I'm on my daily walk through the YouTube streets or the Facebook universe, as I like to call it now, because it's definitely its own little creation unto itself. I mean, I don't think there's anything that you can't
They
find on
are.
Facebook.
Once I started looking through that stuff, like it's a whole world is going on. Like they got beefs and stuff over there. Like that. I'm like, damn, y'all living like this over on YouTube.
Yeah,
They go
some
from
of
one
some of
platform
them
to the
keep
next
so
talking about each
entertained.
other.
I
Like,
tell
man.
you, some of them just like, you know what? Nah, I don't have time for that. I'll come here for the factoids and the building, the brand building and all of the other stuff. But some of that stuff, yeah, they
I think
really
maybe
get
I
into
just
it.
didn't even know that they were like these is like they act like they got television shows that's rivals and shit. Like they like going in on each other and talking about followers. I'm like, you know what? It's 7 billion people on the earth. It's like they go in deep
But
on
believe
each
me,
other,
man,
and I'm like, wow. I just didn't know. I had no clue.
you're working out, Saria.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, but you're
Okay.
intermittent.
We know how it is. As technical difficulty, we're gonna have to look unless I turn into some rabbit ears and just start doing some acrobatics.
Nope, you're fine now. Yeah,
Right.
but YouTube, man, YouTube is a space unto its own. I mean, I always tell people, there's a wealth of information in the world, especially with the access that we have to social media and every other type of media. But I found so much on YouTube that it's a book that's, for me, it's a book that's accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Literally, there's nothing about nothing that you can't find on YouTube.
All right. So we're gonna move on to another thing. We talk about self-love. You got to talk about the social emotional piece, which connecting with the right people. We all know this, cutting ties with toxic people. Too many of us hold on to toxic family members, toxic relationships, toxic friends. So when do we decide that we're gonna cut ties and realize that these people are not good for you? When you think about self-love.
Well, the first thing is that there's some people that are toxic and they walk around here and they don't know it. So, you know, it's hard to recognize when someone else is toxic if you're toxic too. So maybe you're just being infected by the environment. But the first thing is that there has to be an acknowledgement that there's something wrong. If you don't think it's nothing wrong with your environment and this craziness that you're going through is normal to you, then they're never going to change it. And the outsiders looking in, we're just always going to be wondering why they don't see it. Well, they don't see it because they're toxic too. So for me, I started getting rid of people when, there were just different things that I wanted to do. Maybe I deviated from what my norm would usually be. And of course, you go to a friend or somebody and you try to tell them about it. You're excited about the change that you're making. And all of a sudden, because you're making a change, it highlights the fact that they're not. And now all of a sudden, they want to give you every reason why you should not make the changes that you're trying to make. That's when I know that I am now dealing is very positive, that I'm dealing with a toxic person, because I have to examine, why are they telling me this? What are they getting out of trying to discourage me from doing what I'm doing? Are the reasons they're giving me based on true concern? Or am I just, you know what I'm saying? Or do I just see some damn hate, some hate in the Kool-Aid? Most of the time that's what it is. So that's how I know, is when I'm excited about something and I'm bringing it to somebody that I trust and love, and they're doing everything they can to try to knock it down. That's the clue for me that they probably gonna be the next one cut off the list.
Okay. So we got Gavin, what's good?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing?
So we want to hear. We want to hear from some fresh blood, whatever. So what's your take on the things that's being said, or previous shows, or what you might got something on your mind?
I'm not sure what the topic is. I just joined.
Well, we had a 3-question psychology test for individuals, and if you want to engage in the questions, I can give them to you. If you don't, we can just continue on with what we were just discussing, which is trying to weed toxic people out of your life, and how a lot of people respond once they find out that if they don't go along with you, they generally are left. And it reminds me of when I started going to college. I got introduced to a whole different environment. And it wasn't that the people that I hung out with when I was younger were bad people. They just weren't going on my journey. And this is something that I told my bitches. I said, you guys, by coming here, you realize you're going to have to leave some people behind. And that happens with growth. Sometimes it's like a plant. When a plant starts to develop roots and it gets too big for its pot, you have to repot it. That pot gets behind. Whatever happens to that pot, happens to that pot, whether it's set aside for another plant that outgrows the plant. Sometimes we outgrow our friends. And we have to be cognizant of the fact that sometimes we outgrow our friends. We have to find a new proper friends. It's just like, when you let's look at class for a moment. Class related to income. When you start to make a certain amount of money, the things that you do change. Your taste changes, where you eat changes. And the people that can't afford it, they'll say, hey, look, I can't make that leap. I can't go there with you because I just simply can't afford it. And I use that to say this. Sometimes you might have to get rid of friends, even stop hanging out with certain family members if they're not going your way. And that's not a good, bad, or that's not a bad or a good thing. It's just how we progress through life. You're not going to continue if you're looking to stop using alcohol or abusing alcohol. You're not going to continue to hang out with people that abuse or use to the point where you're uncomfortable. You're going to go find a group of people that are on that same trajectory. And that's just a maturation process. Hopefully we all go through it. They say if you think the same way at 40 as you did at 20, you wasted 20 years of your life. And I know all of us, I'll go out on a limb and say, none of us are doing the same things we were doing at high school into our 20s or 30s that we're doing now. And that's just growth. So, sometimes you outgrow your friends, and there's nothing wrong with that. The problem is trying to still bring them with you when they're hesitant or they're unable. We have a lot of people that try and engage in that, and then they wonder why their relationships are always so contentious. And me, I don't have contentious relationships.
Well, here's the thing. I don't understand why. It's no need for them to wonder. They know why. Because you're trying to bring people into a situation, like you said, everybody that walk with you can't run with you. And that's just, you're all going in different directions. It's a lot of things that my friends may be doing that I can't get with. And like you said, that's not a good or bad thing. That's just not my cup of tea. A lot of things that I'm doing, that's not the cup of tea. Well, me personally, my connections are pretty strong. And because I'm a go with the flow type of chick, whatever you're doing, as long as you ain't trying to, do the hoodoo on a chick, okay. I could sit there and I watch you do it, but people really genuinely are haters. And a lot of times your biggest haters are going to be the people that you know.
Yeah.
You will find much more support from strangers than you will from the people who you just knew was going to be in your corner, because they knew you when you know, used to throw up on yourself, or when you used to pee in the bed, or when you had this scheme over here, or this idea over here. You know, they don't give you, they don't give you the props for the growth. You know, they there to tell you, well, I was there when that didn't work. Well, I was there when that didn't work.
Right.
You know, they don't, you will always get more support, from strangers, people who are just meeting you, than you will, and that for me is where people get stuck in their own misery, because they're expecting unrealistically for mama, daddy, cousins, nephews, all this to just be on board. Them dudes used to call you Pookie, okay? They not coming on board with you in the beginning. They're gonna come on board once they see things start working. That's when your
Yes.
family, your friends are gonna come.
That's too
That's when
late
they're
then.
coming. Well, it's not too late for me, because I can use all the help I get, and I'm gonna do some cheap labor stuff too. If you play me off like that and you don't want to help me while I was doing it, oh yeah, you're gonna be a child labor worker for real when you finally do come on. But I'm gonna let you come on. I'm gonna still let you come on. I ain't gonna turn nobody away, because I can use all the money all the time whenever you want to give it to me. But there is gonna be a price to pay. You coming
But
on
it,
too late. You gonna hear some "I told you so." You gonna hear some "oh." So now you want to come after I done blew up. Well, yeah. Let me see if I can find a position for
if
you.
you
Oh
if
yeah, it's
you
gonna be
if you
all that.
blew up, what's the point? You might not even need them anymore. You're not about to jump on the bandwagon and hitch a ride once everything has been established. You want the people that's with you from the groundwork, whatever, the
That's how
blood,
I
sweat,
feel
and
about people
tears.
that I don't care about. People that I do care about, I understand human nature, and I understand how their mind works. And I understand that in the beginning, people that know. So that's just for me. I just understand that. So I don't use that understanding as a way to hold it against them later. I just understand. I'll be like, okay, you'll be back. You'll be back, and I'll be ready for you when you do. Now, for most folks that I don't care about, that's telling me I can't do, and that's betting on my demise. Oh, you better believe them mofos can't. They don't have enough money to throw at me
Okay.
when stuff go down, because I would rather you stay on the other end of thinking that I can't do it, because I'm gonna do something else that you thought I couldn't do too. But it's people that I genuinely care about and love. I know human nature. I know that that's all about them. Because let me tell you something, I'm like that too. You can't come to me and tell me about your brand new bubblegum business and think I'm gonna just be on board. When it goes, okay, okay, boy, I'm gonna support you from afar, but I'm gonna buy some bubblegum too. But so I'm gonna be
Maybe
skeptical too, because maybe I've seen some of the stuff. So I just know human nature. So people
so
that I
so
love and care about, they get a little bit more
So
leeway
what
than the
would be the
strangers do.
difference of a stranger jumping on about your bubblegum business and saying, hey, I only seen this person. I seen them do a couple videos and all that. I like their energy, so I'm going to support. Then somebody that you grew up with, or a sibling or a cousin and all that. See, I can't subscribe to that.
That's just how it works out. I'm not finna, for me, I'm just talking about me, Dave. I'm
Yeah.
not finna waste
And
my
I'm just
time
giving you a
deciphering
little
it. I'm gonna
rebuttal,
let
a little
people get rid of
rebuttal.
themselves. You can't rebut how I'm gonna do things. Like we could talk about how you'll do things. But for
I'm
me,
just
I'm
throwing
gonna
an
focus on
opposite point
other
of view,
stuff.
a little pushback.
And I'm saying I don't care about that. I'm saying if I don't know you, then and you give me all of that flack and all that stuff, and you come back on later, that's something different from me than if I genuinely care about you and I have a relationship with you, because I know human nature. I can't hold human nature against you. So for me, I'm not going to do that. It just depends on who you are in my life as to where you got to get in where you fit in. Like I say, you're going to be able to come back. It's going to be with some flack though. You ain't coming back quietly and just like you always been there. Like if I was to blow up right now, my dad could not come back in my life. He ain't been in my life for 49 years. If I was to blow up and get rich right now, my dad cannot get in that photo op with me like the NFL players' dads be doing. Be catching him at the first round draft pick. Ain't never been there. All of a sudden, he got his arm around his son. I'm so proud of you. Ain't never been there. Dad. Like that, no, that can't happen. But the rest of it, people that have been rocking me and just been seeing stuff. So no, like I said, to me, it just depends on who you are in the echelon.
That sounds, David. That sounds eerily like the old scenario we just had with the graduation ticket. The father.
I had that situation, and I wanted to get in on that conversation so bad. And y'all need to know that it was your boy that did not let me in. I was there. I was like, oh my God. I was like, oh my Lord. I need
If
to say
something,
something. He did not let me in. I was like, and that's why I told him that he better tell y'all that it was him that was
We were saying our
not letting
parting
me.
words. Then all of a sudden, you wants to
No, no,
show
no, no,
up.
no, no. I told you I've been there. Just like last week when I got cut off, I'd been there for a while. Like, hey, let me in, and couldn't because no, we were talking about I heard most of the conversation, and I had that issue. My mom wanted to come to my graduation, and I had all these people that had rallied up around me, during the abuse and all of that stuff. And when she wanted to come to graduation, I had some real pissed off teachers, one in particular that was like, she don't deserve to be there, period. And so what I wanted to say, I don't know if that girl's father
How the hell a
deserved to be
teacher could have
there or
anything
not,
to say about that? What the
because
hell?
that teacher followed me from school to school and he watched the abuse from when I was 6 years old up until my graduation. That's why he had. See, that's what I'm saying. It depends on the relationship. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and for him, he at that time, teachers did not get involved. And so there was nothing he could do except for, do what he could do to make sure that I was safe, make sure that when I was in school that I wasn't being bullied and all of that stuff. And so when it came to that and she wanted that ticket, he was really adamant against it because he saw the effects. He saw what it did to me when I came to school. He saw the bruises. He saw all of that. But, what I wanted to say to the young lady was, I understood where she was at with wanting her father to be there. When it comes to girls and their dad, whether the dad has been there or not, little girls fantasize. And I would imagine that little boys do it too, but I don't want to speak to little boys. I know little girls, we fantasize about our dad. Whether we hear bad stuff about him through our mom or whatever, at some point, especially with a mother that's abusive, I'm fantasizing that someday my dad's going to come and he's going to rescue me. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know what the situation was in her house, but I understand both sides. I understand her mom and anybody else that was like, hell no, especially the stepdad. The stepdad has been there raising this girl. But I also have to look at it from the mindset of that child. She's still a child just because she graduated from high school, as evidenced by the fact that she wants this dude there that ain't done nothing for her. But that's because she's still in daddy's little girl mode. She still has that fantasy of maybe he sees that I did this, maybe he'll do better. She's still willing to believe, if he calls and says, hey, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna do this. So I
Yeah,
understood both sides of it. I did. I had my
yeah.
opinion about it, but I understood both sides.
And with that,
Talking
there's
point for a future show to me.
what'd you say?
I said that sounds like a talking point for a future show to me.
So wait, where'd everybody go? Can you guys see me?
Hey, baby
Yeah.
girl.
That
I
was
can
frozen.
see you. Hey, baby girl.
Yeah, I can see you.
Oh, okay. So I wanted to share with you guys something that's kind of personal, but it don't matter because you guys are cool. But it was the first talking point actually, Dave, that I didn't get to comment on because I was just listening. So February 12th of last year, I had a massive heart attack and I almost died. And so this year is my 1 year alive anniversary.
Well, happy
And
Well, happy
thank
anniversary.
you.
We're happy you made it, girl.
Yeah, it was a massive heart attack. I had a 99% and 100% blockage. I almost died 3 times last year. But like I remember after, and this is part of like the self-love thing too. I remember I woke up in ICU 3 days later. Like I didn't know nothing. It's like the Bible says, like when you die, it's like nothingness. So I don't know. My mom was like, "Oh my God, you almost died." I was like, "No, I didn't. I'm right here." But the recovery was so difficult. There was a lot of times I told my mom, she had to quit work for a while and come home and take care of me, and it was quite a journey. But there's a lot of times I told my mom, I said, "Mom, why didn't they just let me die at my heart attack? 'Cause I can't do this. I cannot do this recovery after the heart attack. It's so hard. It's a lot to get where I'm at now.
Got a bad
Like
connection.
a year later, oh, can you hear me?
Yes, it
Got
just
you.
So
Come
a
in and
year
out for a
later, I'm
minute.
just, oh, okay. So a year later, I'm just amazed at like the progress and the personal growth that I've endured for this year. Because I mean, the last time I almost died from my heart, I had bleeding around my heart from my second heart surgery in September. So I was like, I don't want to do this no more. I was like, Ma, just let them, just let them let me die, because this is just too much for me. Like, I'm only 44. So it was like a lot to go through as far as personal growth and self-love, because I was not, I don't know. I don't even know how I did it, but I know the last time I don't know if you guys are religious or anything, but my family grew up Jehovah's Witness, so my grandma's going to be 107 on the 28th of February.
Damn.
So she attributes,
God bless her.
yeah, she attributes her longevity to her faith. So when I was almost dying, in September, when I had bleeding around my heart, I could hear everybody saying, like, one person said, okay, her heartbeat or whatever, yeah, her heartbeat or whatever, blood pressure was 60/40, and I had my eyes closed, and then I heard the other nurse or whoever it was say, I can barely hear her heartbeat.
I was going to say that.
Meanwhile,
That's not even sufficient to get the 60/40 is not even, correct me if I'm wrong, Rebecca. 60/40 is not even sufficient enough to be able to get your blood to circulate.
Well, it's not. It's too close together. It's too low and too close
yeah,
together. So yeah, that probably is why they
yeah.
couldn't
So
get a
I
heart rate or
I have
anything like that. But I'm glad you're here.
yeah, my blood
I'm glad
pressure.
they saved your
Thank you.
life.
Yeah, so like right here, is where I have the scar from them shoving the tube up into my heart to drain the blood, and I needed 2 units of blood for transfusion. I didn't know what was going on, but I remember I don't know, somehow after they said, and it hurt so bad, but I couldn't say nothing. And after I heard them say, the nurse or doctor, whatever, say, I can barely hear her heartbeat, it was hurting me so bad, like that tube. For some reason, I opened my eyes and I said, Jesus, help me. And I think that's the only reason. I mean, it might sound weird, but I think that's really the only reason why I'm here. And then everybody's like, well, you have another purpose in life. But for me, knowing all the trials that I went through the past year, it's difficult to understand what the purpose is. So
You may not,
that goes a long
right
way.
now, you're probably not supposed to understand right now. Right now, a lot of times we can be living in our purpose and don't know it. The one thing that made me uncomfortable about your whole story, the whole thing, is that you kept asking your mother next time, please just let me die. I'm going to tell
Yeah.
you that words have power, and you keep on putting that kind of thing out into the universe. And it is absolutely by the grace of God that He didn't grant your wish. So I'm going to say, thank you, Jesus, that you're here. And I'm also going to just ask you to stop putting that shit out into the universe. Life is hard. Sometimes it hurts. A lot of our lessons come through our pain. That is where our growth comes from. That is where our maturity comes from. And if you don't go through it, then you have no clue what it is that you're supposed to be doing. So in order for us to know this awesome person that's here right now, you had to go through all of that pain. So, it's just that's what recovery is about. Recovery is about pain. Sometimes it's mental, sometimes it's physical, and sometimes it's both. But that's
So
It
just
was
what it
all of
is.
it.
If you're going to be in this life, if you're going to be here, and if you're saying that you're going to live in that purpose, it's not for you to understand every move that God has for you. If we try to do that, we'll go crazy. Absolutely.
so the,
Because it's a different purpose at a different stage of life.
so
Right
the
now,
question you got
Yeah, it
to
was
ask
very
Anita.
hard to
So the question you got
it was
to ask.
very hard to process what happened. What was that?
So the question you got to ask now that you're here, do you want to be here?
yeah.
Are you doing whatever you can to stay alive?
Well, I'm still recovering. I have to start cardiac rehab here next week, but it's still mentally and emotionally and physically, it's still a struggle to even understand all that I went through to where I'm at today. It's still like mind-boggling. So I mean, there's a lot of other health issues that I have besides that going on, but yeah, my heart it was crazy. I don't know what cardiac rehab is gonna be like, but
Hard.
Well, I
It's
was
gonna
gonna.
be
yeah.
hard, but it's
Have
gonna
you
be
ever
worth
thought
it.
about
You're
like
gonna be breathing
journaling it?
afterwards. You're gonna be
And
healthy afterwards.
you know, Anita, I am seeing so many people die through my profession, and you know, I just lost my aunt this past summer watching her fight cancer. And I am a firm believer that God won't keep you here one more minute than what he wants you to be here. All the wishing, hoping, and praying, you know, not to say what Surya said was wrong, but Lord knows if he heard my wishes, I would be a B cup right about now. Because
We
I've
would
been
all be a
wishing for
lot of
that for
stuff if
years.
he heard our wishes. He give
You
us
know
what
what I'm
we need,
saying?
not
So,
necessarily what we wish for.
right.
Girl, we would
So
have been
I
a C cup long time
thank you.
ago
All
if
girl,
he was
all day up
listening
and
to
through here.
wishes.
All day. You know, sometimes loved ones have a hard time hearing people say, you know, what they want. And I'm sure in that moment you were probably agonizing so much that you just wanted it to stop. That those really
Yeah.
weren't your true wishes. But you have people who really they're tired of being here, you know, and they want to be let go. And that's hard for the people that they live behind to hear that, especially with people with terminal illness, you know, people with mental illness saying, you know, I just want to commit suicide. That's a whole nother conversation. But I do believe that regardless of what you were hoping and wishing for, you're going to stay here until he's ready to call you home, if you believe in that sort of thing. I'm
Yeah.
so glad that you're okay. You know,
Thank
hearing
you.
that journey, you know, makes my heart be still, because you're such a young woman. I'm glad that you're, you know, okay. And I was listening to Surya speak, and it was touching my soul when she was talking about the people that, you know, she shuttled out of her life, you know, for her well-being. And it just made me think that I'm hoping that everybody agrees, and it might not be the same way, but it dawned on me that most of my negative relationships came from either my family or the men in my life. It was never, you know, my best girlfriend or a stranger or a coworker. Those most intimate relationships you have either tend to try to break you or just, you know, make your life heaven. And it just, to hear her say what she said, I led a pretty sheltered life until I was about 21, 22. Just a quiet life in Niagara Falls. I went to work, came home, and it wasn't really until I met my son's father that I started to move around and realized that the way that I was moving in life was not the way that I wanted to move. I was trying really hard to fit in with the rest of the crowd in Niagara Falls and what was going on in Niagara Falls at that time. And I quickly realized that that really wasn't the life for me. Relatively quiet person. I'm pretty much a wallflower. I just think I'm a cute wallflower. And when I
I mean,
left,
most wallflowers are.
you know, I didn't have to necessarily cut people off. The distance pretty much did it for itself. And then I started to grow as a person, probably because I was on my own. I didn't have any family to rely on. I was raising 3 small kids at the time. And as I grew, I was fortunate enough to be surrounded by people who wanted to see me grow. First and foremost, other nurses that were serious about their work and what they were doing and made me want to be a better nurse. And then those types of women started entering my life and became my lifelong, you know, girlfriends. And then I started to meet men that weren't necessarily my boyfriends, but just good men, you know, that I was able to not only bring into my life, but into my kids' life. So now I can say I'm fortunate enough that I don't really know any deadbeats, male or female. I'm surrounded by good people. I have women in my life that don't make as much money as I do, but they aspire to finish school and to follow their dreams. And I fully support anybody, man or woman, who wants to do better. Some people, they aspire to be a garbage man, and I don't hate on that. You know, do what
Listen,
fulfills your
garbage
life
man make a pretty
and make you
penny,
happy.
honey.
You know, just
Yes, they do.
especially in this time, do what makes you happy, because if that's what makes you happy, that, you know, that's what makes you happy. Just be the best damn garbage collector, you know, you can be. So I really have been fortunate as I get older that I can really look around me to the left and the right
Not
and
the
have
waiting kitty.
wonderful people in my house. You know, my kids give me more damn grief than
Girl,
anybody, and they're all almost
girl,
grown, but I catch more. I find myself more upset about things coming from, you know, my children
girl,
than
get to put your
anybody else. And
seatbelt
it's
on.
not like, you know, it's not like they're, you know, they're evil people or bad adults, but you know, they're your seeds, and you're still trying to look out for them. You want them to be grown, you know, you're scared to let them go, but they need to be out there, you know, type shit. It's those everyday types of things that tend to grind on me. So just wanted to say that, but I'm glad you're okay. And Suri, I just loved what you had to say this evening.
Oh,
It
I'm
moved
glad
me.
it.
So,
I'm
yes,
glad it helped. And yeah, put that
yes, ma'am.
seatbelt on about them kids getting on your nerves as they get older,
Girl,
because it's something that they don't tell you. See, most
girl,
people only focus on parenthood as far as newborns, toddlers, stuff like that.
girl.
They
I
don't
think my son
say,
was secretly
they
whispering,
don't
and
really
I'm not
talk
sure if I
about,
quite heard it, but
girl,
I'm pretty sure he was saying, "Mom, punch me in the throat. Punch me in
girl,
the
they do.
throat."
Yes,
And so I
yes.
had to keep asking him,
Listen,
what are you
one of
saying?
the
Are you
one of
asking
one
me
of
to
them was
punch you in
reaching
your
out to
throat?
me saying, "Choke me,
Because,
mom, choke me. Just
girl,
choke me for 15 seconds. That's all I need."
girl,
Yeah, no,
I'm pretty
that
sure
because those
that's what he
grown
was
kids,
asking me. So,
man.
yeah.
But like you
So,
said, it's because you have this vision for them. They're grown but not grown. You want to trust them. My daughter will be 30 next month, and my son just turned 28. And so my son is much more uh, accepting and open and wanting my viewpoint on things than my daughter is. With my daughter, I can't just give it to her. She got to come to me. If I just give it to her, then mom you don't trust me, and
yeah,
you trying to tell me, okay, cool. But by the time she comes to me, she done mucked it up. So I'm just like, but so now,
yeah,
but that's where she's at with it. I have to
yeah,
allow her to do, to learn the lessons the way that she learned, because she will come back to me as that. That's the only thing I ask. When you jack it up, just let mom come in and at least show you how to get out of it. I don't got to do it for you. I won't put my hands on it, but let me be your guy behind the chair, like a Spider-Man. Let me be your dude behind the computer. I'll tell you what to do. Like, I navigate you through this. But yeah,
yeah,
so them kids, girl, they'll make you want to throw brick right at their face, right at them.
yes,
Let me throw this in there. Latoya asked,
absolutely.
and this is for you, Anita. She says, have you ever thought about journaling your experience? Your story could help someone else who may be going through a similar situation. And I'm a huge proponent of writing. So I always tell people, you never know where your inspiration or where you inspired somebody else to be, just like what Becca was saying. So that might be something you wanna think about doing too, Anita.
Yeah. I've told a few of my, I'd say, acquaintances last year about what happened. You know, a few friends that I had in high school, and one of my friends was like, he was really inspired by my story. And to me, it just felt like, why would you be inspired by that? Like, it doesn't,
Because
it
you
doesn't
almost
phase
died and
me
you're
because I'm
still
still,
alive. You
yeah,
don't get that? Because you
like,
almost died and you're still alive. Like, just say it to
Yeah,
yourself. I
that
almost
really
died and I'm
doesn't.
still alive.
yeah,
That
I
And then
know,
you'll
but
start to
it's
get why
hard
it's
to
inspiring.
conceptualize.
Right?
I almost died 3 times last year, 3 times last year. And I
And
was
you're
in the
still here.
hospital most of the year.
That's the miracle.
And I'm still here. And I mean,
That's
I'm
the
still
miracle.
trying to process it.
Yeah.
So
You,
yeah, I don't know. I don't, I mean, I guess it's inspiring, but while I was going through it, I wasn't inspiring myself.
No, nobody's
It
ever
was a
inspired
tough,
while they're going through it. But
Yeah.
yes,
It was
after
a
you
tough
come through it,
battle.
yeah, you need to be able to recognize that you
And
came through something
Yeah, I think you
because
keep
you
mhm.
did.
second guessing it
Yes,
instead of saying, I'm here, now I got to make the most of it and I got to move forward with positive energy. You can't keep doubting, like, well,
yeah, like
why
what you
am I
doing in
Yeah.
the
here?
Why
Why
process?
am
am I
I
You
here?
done
still
kick,
here?
you
Yeah,
done kicked
Just
that ass
celebrate that
three
you're
yeah,
still
times
here.
last year
Yeah.
in the middle of a
Yeah.
pandemic. Excuse me.
Mhm.
February was
Yeah.
like the onslaught of all of this
Uh-huh.
stuff. And
Mhm.
you're sitting here talking about how you're still trying to process it instead of saying, I done kicked the shit out of Death's ass 3 times last year. I'm a bad
I
bitch and here I
did,
am.
but
That's why you didn't, because you still processing. What you processing, girl? What you
it's hard
processing? You're
to
here.
it's hard to it's hard to feel like it's real.
That was real.
It's
That you here. You need
hard.
me to come and pinch you. You need us to give you some collard greens. What you need?
I
You're
need,
here.
you know what I need? I need some collard greens and ham hocks.
yeah. Here we go again. Here we go.
No, but seriously, it's like, when I was going through it and the recovery was so difficult, I told my mom and my friends, my military friends that I was, deployed with and stuff. I said I'd rather be getting, and it's amazing like what you can get used to in life. I said I'd rather be, and I went to Iraq, I said I'd rather be in Iraq getting shot at every day, all day, 24/7 for a year than go through this. It was
Well, that says a
Because
lot.
you were comfortable in that environment. This is an environment that's new to
yeah,
you. So it's
Exactly.
something really
yeah,
you're not
That
comfortable with.
you don't have any control over. At least while
Right.
you were there, you knew what to do. You were already trained on how to handle certain situations, and here you are with a situation that you haven't been trained for, and you don't know how to deal with it. So it's like, I want something that I'm used to, something that is something that comes second
yeah,
nature. Whereas this is
yeah.
And
So I'm
like,
still
and you know,
working.
and your
Yeah.
body trying to die is not a comfortable feeling. I could see why you would tell somebody just let them stop. I can only imagine how physically painful that must have been with your heart not trying to beat. So,
Mm-hmm.
I can only imagine what your thought process is. And I could imagine that a year later, you're still wondering, why, how, who, I that makes sense to me, which is, there's a lot of counseling that should go
Mm-hmm.
on with your recovery, because that it absolutely is a life altering event for you to wake up and your doctor to tell you you died 3 times and we brought you back. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
shocking when, one, you don't remember any of it, and your whole
Nope.
family is hovering over your bed crying and praying. So I could imagine
Mm-hmm.
365 days later that you're still wondering what the fuck, because I
Yeah.
think I would
It,
too. And every time you take off your shirt and you look at that scar, I'm sure you're just like,
mm-hmm.
what the fuck? And so, yeah, you can give praise all day, but I'm sure you probably carry a lot of fear and caution around with you. So be
Yeah, and
careful
I have
driving.
I have 2 stents and 2 mitral valve clips, and it's still hard for me. I still should walk with a cane. I can't walk too fast or too long, but I'm so bored of not being able to do what I want, what I'm used to doing. Like
I can
I try to
imagine
do
you end up
housework.
proceeding through life with a lot of caution, and your doctor will tell you, just live life, but it's kind of hard, to do that if you think that every time you're stressed, it's going to stress your heart. And,
Right.
so, but
And
I'm
especially,
glad you're here.
thank you.
You know,
Especially
just
just doing little things around the house, like going walking down to the basement and doing laundry. Like, who thinks that's a tough battle? But for me, like, I try to do because that's what I'm used to doing is do. In the army, we don't take a break. You break your ankle, okay, get up. We're still marching on, okay, you'll get over it. So, I mean, there's been a couple times over the past few weeks where I look better and I think I feel better. My pictures on Facebook say I look better, and it's all a facade. I try to do, and then I realize I can't do do like I used to, because then my chest starts hurting. I got to take a break and I'm out, trying to rest for a couple days because I feel like
That's why
I
you're
thought
going to
I could do it.
cardiac rehab. That's exactly why
Yeah.
they're sending you to listen to your doctor. That's what
Yeah.
I will say. Listen, whatever your doctor tells you to do or don't do that and do that. So listen to him.
Yeah.
But
It's
don't
a
even
difficult transition
Yeah, it is.
when you
because I'm
say
so independent. I don't have anybody here to, help me out.
The
It's like
fellas were
really,
talking about, keeping your, your body, healthy and staying in shape. And, Herb was saying how, he lost all this weight. I didn't know you was that much of a fatty fat. I didn't know you had
Damn.
that much weight.
About 235. I'm heavy,
But
but I still move.
yeah.
I agree with that. We all take our health for granted. I'm a nurse and I take my health for granted. I smoke cigarettes and I counsel patients about, not smoking and being hypertensive.
Well, listen,
and
baby.
we
Listen,
all
for you, smoking cigarettes. I know that smoking cigarettes is a nasty habit. Okay, so can I just
It
go on record by
is.
saying that I know that it is,
It
and I
is.
used to be afflicted with smoking cigarettes. Here's the thing. Okay, so not with having said that, you are in the industry, like you said, people are dying at an alarming rate around you every day. We're lucky that you're not shooting crack. Okay, so if I gotta pick a vice, I'ma say go on ahead and have your puff, you know, so that you can get
This
yourself
is the
together. It's a
hardest
vice. We all
struggle
have vices.
that I
It's
have
just
had
it's just
is trying to quit smoking. When I moved to Texas, I didn't smoke cigarettes. I started working at a contained psych facility, and that's where I started smoking because them crazy people will.
yeah.
Them motherfuckers will make you move mountains to get up and away from them.
that's
And
all you doing is smoking. You should be drinking on the
Right.
job.
and
Exactly.
you
They
know,
lucky you not
and,
doing that and drink out a flask with you. When you
I
work in
work out
positions like
twice.
that,
I
man.
try to work out twice a day. I definitely work out on the job. My boss makes us stop every day for an hour. And
Yep.
she locks the doors and she makes us do some yoga, anything where we can use the desks
That's
and the
good.
chairs around the office. And I
Right.
bought myself one of those mirrors and I try to, go upstairs
Oh,
and
one of what
work out.
mirrors? The ones that like work out with you? I
That
thought
one.
about getting that. Is
That
it
one.
cool? Because I
Yes.
thought about doing that. I really
Yes.
did.
It is.
Look,
It
I got
is
a
so
pole
worth the
dance
money.
routine I got to get ready for in
Girl, whatever
363
you want,
days.
you
So I
can
need
get
to
it, and you can get a personal trainer.
Dave,
That
don't
just
shake
works
your
out with
head at
just
me.
you. Yeah, you can be naked in front of it. It don't make a difference. But
I'm just
I
looking
try
at
to
Dave.
work
He
out
just sitting there like,
to combat the
Go for it.
smoking. And my kids just hate it. They just absolutely hate the fact, that I smoke. And my daughter is gracious enough to try to keep me accountable. So, I'm allowed to have one cigarette while I'm at work, and I'll take like 2 hits and put it out and go back to work. And I make one cigarette last 8 hours, and I'm allowed to have 3 or 4, while I'm at home from the time I walk through the front door until I go to sleep. And
listen, well, your daughter is
she
nice.
did. Well,
Okay,
none
she
of them
trapped me
buy
on
me
her couch. My daughter trapped me on her couch, and I
Yeah, my
got
daughter's
sick.
not playing.
My granddaughter brought home some kid cooties, because those are worse. The kid
Yeah.
cooties went through the whole house. Everybody had it for 24 hours. Because I've had blood clots and problems with my lungs, of course, it turns into an infection for
Yeah.
me. So I'm trapped on her couch for 5 weeks. Can't
Yeah.
move. And guess who has to go get me cigarettes? She looked me straight in my face.
Yeah.
She was like, so yeah,
If my
hate
daughter
the
has
fact
to
that
give
you
me a
smoke,
pack of
won't be buying you
cigarettes,
cigarettes. I'll
I
get you
get them
anything
with
else.
so much attitude, and I have to lay like a guilt trip about how I
My
gave
daughter
birth
straight
to
up,
you.
my daughter
and-
Leave them
straight up
squares
told me
alone.
she
Yeah, I'm
wasn't
trying, baby.
buying them for me. I was
I
paying for
really
them. She
am.
was like,
I'm
I don't even want your
struggling. Like
money.
this time, I think I need like medication this time, because I've tried everything, prayer, just everything, and I just can't seem to quit. And the problem is,
You want to
I
work in the
don't
most
really
stressful
inhale.
job
I've never
ever,
liked
trying
the
to
taste
stop
of
your stress
cigarettes.
relief.
It truly is a bad habit, and I I bought candy. I think the couple of the last shows I was on, I went like 3 packs an hour later, trying not to, have a cigarette. And I keep trying to find something to substitute, and can't really, find anything. But I am a firm believer in trying to keep this body as healthy as I can, mainly because I smoke. And in the beginning, it was because of my age, but the more I smoke, the more I feel the need to work out, because I know I'm not doing myself any good, especially at this age, that I'm doing myself a disservice by doing that. So,
Just want to
And no, something that
Wait a
was
minute,
weird
Herb
last
ain't had a
year.
chance to say nothing in a minute. What's going
just,
on, Herb?
no, I was just going to say, I just want to throw something else out here for Anita. I'm sure most of the people on the panel, if not all the people on the panel, have heard of the book 48 Laws of Power. The author, Robert Greene, recently had a stroke, and he's actually going through recovery. So that was something he was talking about. So, I mean, people would be surprised at who endures what type of health ailment and what they have to go through to get better. Now, he was talking, I was listening to a podcast with him, and a gentleman's name was Lewis Howes. And he was talking about how he wrote a book called The 50th Power, and he wrote that with 50 Cent. And they pulled the book because it wasn't geared towards what he had written previously with the 48 Laws of Power. And they were saying people want to know about you. They don't want to know about 50 Cent. They want you to write the
Who
book.
was the people that said, who was the ones that told him?
I think I got that book.
The publishing company.
His publishing company? Oh, wow.
Yes.
I'd have went another way.
Well, he did. But the company that he went to told him, the previous company had told him, they said, you have to write this book from your perspective using what 50 Cent has told you. And he said he had 8 months to do it. He said he didn't think it was possible. But he said he buckled down, listened to his wife, and he got that book done within 8 months, and it turned out to be a very well-written book.
Hello? I know I'm on
What
the
book?
podcast.
Inbox me the name
I'm
of
going to do the
that
podcast
book.
every Monday.
So I was
What's up? Are you
saying,
okay?
2 weeks prior to my heart attack, 2 or 3 weeks prior to my heart attack, I had all my blood tests done, and nothing was a significant marker to indicate that I was headed for a heart attack. So it was crazy. Like I don't abuse my body. I worked out. I mean, worked my ass off exercising in the Army for 12 years and then some. So it was a surprise to me that I don't do drugs. I never done drugs. I don't smoke weed. And, I smoke cigarettes socially. Well, not no more, but so that's part of the reason why it was surprising to me that I would have such a massive heart attack, because to me, there was no definitive emergency red flag markers. It just,
Yeah, well,
it was crazy.
women tend to
Sometimes
have
there
heart
is.
attacks and don't even know it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
that
Especially
women
after
have been
you
known
have
to be
died.
walking and having heart attacks. So,
Right.
I walked into
my
the
mother
listen.
ER.
walked all the way to the
I drugged
hospital
myself into the
having
ER,
a heart
and they
attack.
told me they didn't know how I
So,
walked in. They didn't know how I had walked in,
and
because I kept complaining. I'm tired. I have no energy. I can't do anything. And when they started running those
yeah,
tests, the doctors was looking at me like, it ain't no one. Like, how did you get here? I was like, I
yeah,
drove, but I could hardly stay awake. I was admitted immediately. They were like,
yeah,
we have no clue how you even got
yeah,
here. You shouldn't be able to walk. And so, when the doctors are telling you things like that and saying things like that to you, to them, they're not thinking about the psychological effects that has on you. For them, they're so shocked about what's happening.
Yeah.
Like she said, 60 over 40. That's so a lot of times when they're speaking to you, they're really speaking to you out of their astonishment at
Yeah.
what you're
Yeah.
accomplishing. But to you, it sounds like, bitch, you could have fell out in the parking lot. You could have that thing. I've almost died twice. And so I've been told that if I go through a third attack of the blood clot, that I probably wouldn't survive it. I was told that, and I know that because the second attack took so much from me, and that's lost everything, lost my house, lost my car, lost my job. That's when the anxiety and the depression set in, because there were no answers as to why this was happening to me. I didn't have any of the precursors. So when I'm talking to you, I need you to understand, I understand exactly where you are, but it is your mindset that is going to be the thing that's going to bring you through this, and is going to determine whether you a basket case on the other end of it, or whether you're somebody who can take control of what's going on with you. Because yeah, I spent a lot of time, right where you're at, until I realized that that's all I was spending time doing. That's all I was spending time thinking about, was trying to figure out. I don't need to figure nothing out. I need to live life, figure out how to get on and get back to my life with my new normal, whatever that is, whatever it feels like, whatever it looks like. I need to get back. Yeah, it's difficult, but it ain't hard. Like, ain't nobody ever promised you easy. Ain't a word in the Bible about easy.
But it's not.
It's very difficult.
Nothing
in the Bible about easy. That the word don't appear.
Exactly.
Okay. So it's just, this is what you, that's why when Dave asked you earlier, Dave asked you a question that for me you never answered. Dave said, do you want to be here now? And so for me, if you want to be here now, when you make the decision that you're going to be here now, it ain't about whether it's hard or it's easy. It's just what has to be done. Your recovery is just what you got to do in order for you to still be here. It's just what you got to do. It ain't no more easy or hard.
Yeah, you want to follow doctor's order.
That was very nicely said. I like that. I really like that. It's not an option. If you want to be here, put the work in.
Yeah.
And live your best life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That
hard is not impossible. Hard is not impossible. Like I said, ain't one word in the Bible about easy. They don't tell you if you start believing God and Jesus that it all gets easy. Honey, that's when all the problems start. Because that's when everybody is coming to, come on now, we talking real. We talking real. Nobody promised you an easy life. That's why it's a whole bunch of people that can't get their life together, because they waiting on it to get easy, instead of just putting the work in to have the type of life that they want. The type of life that you want is going to take work, no matter what. A whole bunch of people sitting there miserable right now because they waiting on somebody to give them what they want, instead of going out and making it. If you want to live, this is the part that you have to go through right now. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a beautiful thing.
That statement right there can move us right into why, people are single, and don't want to get married, because it's somebody out there just waiting for somebody to either be their knight in shining armor or their princess, in shining armor, and gonna come swoop them up and make their life great. And
I say, honey, wait on it. Just don't complain. Just stop bothering us on Facebook about it. That's what I say. Just stop bothering us about it. You want to sit and wait on it? Go ahead and wait on it, but just stop bothering us about it.
Yeah. Act like y'all don't see Snuggles' comment. I know that's so today.
I got nothing to say about I don't know what he's talking about.
Who is she referring to?
I don't know.
What they referring to? Like, who knows?
She basically trying to convey that women cannot take criticism from anybody, even other women.
It's who trying to convey that? What criticism? See what I'm saying? Okay.
I didn't know where it came from. What comment made her say that, or who she was talking to? So.
Well, is Snuggles a woman or a man? I think Snuggles is a man.
Look, listen.
I'm pretty sure Snuggles is a man.
Yes.
With a name like Snuggles? Really?
Yes. With no picture.
Snuggle
with no picture.
Man written all over it.
I thought
with
that
no
was a
picture.
Woman. Snuggles?
No,
really?
No
Ain't that a little bear on the bottom?
Calling herself Snuggles is gonna show you why she's being called Snuggles. No, there's no picture. There's no picture.
Well, I'm just saying, I hope Snuggles is a female, because if not,
Snuggles is not a female.
Snuggles, who are you? Are you a male or female? Alexa wants to know.
YouTube is like I said, man, it's a galaxy unto itself, man. It's a universe unto itself.
That is true. You can be whoever you want to be on the
internet. Sir.
It's a man, Maury. It's a man.
Hey, I just said, I read it. I just didn't know what made that person make that comment. Who said what to elicit?
Yeah, I was curious too.
I didn't know, so I didn't address it because I know who they were talking to. But she talking to one of us. Know that it's one of the four of us. I just don't know.
Well, I'm good at riddling, most questions, but I couldn't figure it out.
Right,
So
and you ain't even got it, do you? Herb? You make
I'll let it
it
go.
It's what you do, and you don't even have it.
Because I didn't see the need.
Hell, Snuggles, you done shut her down. That's the first.
I didn't see a reason to be critical. Now, if the individual's talking about dealing with an assessment from people, that I could understand, but that's already been covered in terms of people saying the reason it's with any situation that an individual can never ever see themselves enduring in the midst of, or they're on the other end, they don't understand it because it's something that's out of them. None of us have an intrinsic ability to understand something that we've never endured or that we've never seen anybody else up close or personal to go through it. It reminds me of when my aunt passed when I was 7 to 8. Now, at that age, we never experienced death. And the way that I explained it to my younger brother at that time, who was about 6, maybe 5, maybe 6, was I used the analogy of Sleeping Beauty. That he understood. And I said, she is essentially in the state like Sleeping Beauty. He said, oh, so she's going to be asleep for 100 years. I said, yes. Didn't matter if she wasn't really going to wake up in 100 years, because by the time passed, he will have reached a level of maturity that he was able to comprehend something so simple to an adult as that, but not simple to a child, because a child doesn't have the ability and the wherewithal to understand something that is complex for them at that particular point in their lives.
Yeah.
Well, it all boils down to empathy and sympathy and all of that stuff. So a lot of it, even Anita's situation, unless you've been through it, it's hard for anybody to say anything. We could try to give encouraging words and be supportive, but in all reality, what can we say? And one of the things too, when we have deaths and stuff like that, and people say, I'm sorry for your loss and stuff like that. Probably one of the worst things to say. Because
my favorite is they're in a better place now.
Yeah, that one too, because you don't know to say that.
Oh, God,
like if I died tomorrow and somebody got up and said he's in a better place, I'll be mad as hell sitting there. I'll be mad as hell sitting there. I'll be mad as hell.
Why would you be mad?
Why would I be mad? Because like if I went out and got hit by a car and I end up dying or something like that, and somebody said, well, it was his time to go, he in a better place. Don't say that shit, whatever, in my thing over something like that. Don't, unless I give you those words to say. But something instant like that.
Realize you'll be dead, so it won't make a
I understand that. But I'm speaking as a living. I'm speaking as a living individual right now. Yeah, I'm speaking as a living individual right now.
You know, this particular point right here is so apropos because it's going to lead into next week. I'm so thrilled that this particular point
you'll be dead. My mom
I understand that.
Like that to me.
I understand that.
Like, you do realize that you'll be dead, right? You won't hear anything, you won't feel anything, so you won't even know.
But if you speak it right now and you let people know while you're alive, they'll say, they may structure that, say, well, I know he wouldn't want me to say that, so I'll be damned if I get up there and speak to this.
Dead, so
yeah, I won't know. I'll never know. I'll never know.
You'll be dead.
I'll never know. But see, that's part of the problem. When people are alive and they're speaking their feelings, no one has anything to say. But then all of a sudden when somebody died, that's when you get, this person meant this much, this person meant that. No, let's talk this stuff while we living. Let's have this energy while we living. That's what I'm talking about. Because you see it all too often.
I agree.
Yeah, sometimes you don't realize how much somebody means to you until that happens, because you never thought about life without them in the first place.
But we know that that's a given that it's going to happen.
You see at the funeral, just
a lot of times
a whole
take
damn
other
fit,
people for granted.
trying to jump in the coffin and all the rest of that old dumb shit at funerals. You know, when my grandmother died, I cried. I didn't sob, but I cried because she was a wonderful person. She was wonderful to me. She knew I loved her. I knew she loved me. She lived her best life. And I can only cry because I couldn't see her anymore. But I smiled through those tears because in my heart, her faith was strong. And I knew I'm absolutely confident that my grandmother is going to end up being where she was supposed to be. You know, when my brother died, I was inconsolable because he died with us having an argument like 5 days prior to that. And we made up, but it haunted me, you know? And so, you know, I agree with him. If you got something to say to somebody, you should say it. If you love somebody, you should absolutely make sure that they know that, because you might not get another opportunity to do that. And you should absolutely try to live your best life. If there's something you want to do and it's attainable, do it. And if it's unattainable, try to do it or get as close to it as you can. Because if you really look around, people are dropping dead at a young age. Yeah. At a very, very young age. You know, to me, 60 years old is young to me. And maybe because I'm 55, but 60 years old is young to me. Yeah, you know, people, and like he said, in this day and age, they're supposed to be living well into their middle 80s, early 90s, truth be told. And so, you know, do you be happy? Absolutely be happy.
I'm gonna put this out there. If I happen to pass prematurely, I've already told a couple people that the song I won't play is Tony Ritz, I'll leave him. And if you haven't heard about it,
we all go sit there and talk about you. See, now is he in a gray casket? Because he should probably be in a gray casket, and he would probably have something smart to say if he could get one last word out. And what would that be?
You know what? Like I said, the beautiful thing about this particular point of this discussion is it is a prelude into next week. And if this is, like I said, this is the beautiful segue into what I have planned for next week. So y'all definitely want to tune in next week. That's all I'm going to say.
And this was not fixed or anything like that. It just came off the dome, whatever. I just think
so it must be about death and dying. Do we really want to be a part of this? See, I don't know if tell us how many people are going to show up at our funeral and, you know, stuff like that there, because, you know.
It's a real important conversation that we need to have with our friends and family. Like, I never expected that to happen to me last year. And before I went to Iraq, I had to talk about that with my mom. She didn't want to talk about it, but I had to say, Mom, it's a real possibility. I won't come home from Iraq. Like, we got to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you like this portion, you'll probably be enthralled by what I have planned next week. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm giddy. I'm giddy that the fact that this conversation has actually moved in this direction. Like next week is gonna tie it all together.
We've made her happy.
Good calculated move. Good calculated move.
You
know, like what's going on?
Talking about how terrible women are and yelling at us.
Herb is going. I'm gonna tell a secret. He got some witchcraft person coming in, voodoo person coming in on your asses.
He got coming in on his ass.
Not for me. I will probably log off.
That's what's really going on.
Yeah.
Don't worry, the big Kamala, he's gone. He ain't coming to sit on no.
He gonna have him off in the background some damn where.
I won't have no Ouija board out. I won't be doing no seances, so y'all good.
All right. I don't want to talk to no dead people.
For me, in real time, I'm looking at 10:54. I'm saying we got 6 minutes left.
Dougie,
That
press your
means
own.
I can get to bed on time.
Yeah. So we're gonna have some closing points.
You're back in school, Dave. Are you back at work? You're
No,
physically back
we
at work now?
next week's supposedly but
Okay.
it's just I don't know. That's a whole nother discussion, whatever. I don't even know if that's gonna happen. I don't know if the teacher's gonna go for it, but it seemed like that's the way we're headed. And hey, even the president, new president said it's time for kids to get back in school, and they think we have all the precautionary measures, but they really don't. They don't have
So
none of
I
that.
just want to
Unless
put
you've been
this out
in
there
a
right
school,
quick.
unless you've been in a school, you don't know. You don't know
Listen, I
what
want to put this
And they
out there
really
right
don't.
quick.
The
Now,
last
I
part
saw
is they
this.
like they don't.
Do
Kids
you
been in
guys
school in
remember the
Texas
movie?
since
Do you guys
September, so
remember
it
the
ain't not
movie
new
I Am
for us.
Legend?
the
You
movie
all
what?
have seen the movie I Am Legend, right? Will
Yes.
Smith.
Yep.
It was like his. Okay, you do all remember that movie took place in 2021, and that the reason for the zombies was a faulty vaccine.
Uh-huh.
Please don't
Okay.
remind
I've
me.
never seen that
Look,
movie. I'm gonna
You've
watch
never
it
seen
I'm
tonight.
just
that?
saying, what a girl.
Never seen it.
I Am Legend with Will Smith. It was his
It's
biggest.
what,
It was. I
three
won't say
whole
his biggest,
people
but
in
it
the
was his
movie?
most
Two
acclaimed.
whole people?
It's his most acclaimed movie because the majority of that movie, he's in that movie by himself, and he's
Yeah.
carrying the shit out of that movie. So he got the most of his acclaim the first, in the beginning for that movie. You should watch it. But yes, it is set in 2021, and the reason for the zombie outbreak and it was a faulty vaccine that they come up to cure something. Yeah. Put
I just signed
it
up
out there,
to
but okay.
get the vaccine, and I'm scared out of my mind.
What
I'm
movie?
scared out of my
What
mind
movie
for
was
you,
that?
but
I Am Legend.
I Am Legend.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hey, Rebecca, you're not the only one that has some compulsion about it. Me personally, if I don't have to, I'm not going to. And I don't know if
Right.
Dr. Anwar is on there. He talks about this type of stuff. So if you're not subscribed to Dr. Anwar, please go subscribe to him. He talks about this type of stuff. And Rebecca, you
Somebody
probably
in this house has to get it, so it's gonna have to be me. But
Yeah, I know.
again, my
And I'm
daughter ain't
afraid for
happy
you,
about it.
but you
But
know what?
somebody gonna have to try
We
it.
just
So
we
it's
just gotta
gonna have to
know, and
be
we're
me.
gonna claim that you're not gonna be somebody who's gonna fall victim to the negative statistics about this vaccine. And that's just it. That's just
well,
what
no,
it is
for me,
because we don't
it's
have a
not
choice
about.
but to be there.
My concern is I believe the term is the effigy of it. They rushed this to market so quick that they didn't have time to field test it. That's my biggest.
That's my biggest
That's where I
concern.
am with this.
Like
Yes,
It's
they
that's
like
went
it. That's
buying a
way
it.
new
too
house
Because
and getting
usually
fast.
a new house.
vaccines
It's
take
like there's other
years to
places
get
that
to
have been
they
out for
take
years that
years
we
to get
still
approved.
ain't got
At
no
least
But
damn
now
10
all of a
clue.
years.
sudden, let's just do it.
And then y'all
Mm-mm.
came out with this, and it's nah. I can't believe them numbers.
Mm-mm.
I've been putting it off and putting it off, and my boss, she got the Moderna one, and she was, she really did her research, and she was like, try to stay away from Pfizer. And I
Yeah, why is
agree.
it
I don't
different
want
versions of
anything
this?
that
Like,
unstable. I think the Pfizer one is too unstable
Exactly. That's what
because
I'm
of the
saying.
temperature.
Now, not only is it
Yeah.
one vaccine
I
that
heard
they
the
done pushed
opposite
through the
earlier
envelope
today.
real quick.
Well,
Now, several different versions of it, different
Exactly.
people having something like, come on,
Exactly.
well, you know what, David? Let's do.
like
You know,
that's
what,
ridiculous to me.
we can do this. I'll reach out to Dr. Dunbar, and I'll see if he's available for about 5 or 10 minutes next week, so he can actually really break this down kind of quickly for us. Why there's so many different varieties in terms of the vaccines, and then we can move into what we're gonna originally do. That way, people that have questions can actually speak to him because he's a doctor in pharmacology. So like I said, he speaks to the type of stuff, and if he's willing, I'll reach out to him and I'll see if he can spare about 5 or 10 minutes just to come out and talk about this stuff. So we
I
all can
think
get a
that's a
better
very good idea. I think
so we
that's a
all
very
can get a
good
better
idea.
understanding of what we're looking at.
Because the Black and brown community is real skeptical out here. We're the least likely to get the vaccination, and I'm at a crossroads whether that's a detriment or a help. And, you know, I don't believe in conspiracy theories. And this damn vaccination has my mind all over the place. I'm not going to lie. I have gone so far as to think that they're trying to inject some type of tracking device in
Listen,
us.
it's too many.
Just
It's too
all
many
types of
historical
shit.
events that lets me
And
know that
normally
they're
I'm a
not
very
above
rational person,
that.
but I just have
Exactly.
way too. I don't care what nobody say. The president was already fucked up, but after he came out of the hospital with COVID, whatever they gave him in the hospital, that
That
white
made
man
him
lost
worse.
every
Well,
little
it was
bit of his
experimental
mind
treatment
that he
that
had
people have been
left.
talking about. He had no right to be talking about, and it turns
Yeah,
out that he was correct.
I'm just, you know, so
Say
I don't
again.
know, but you know, I'm trying to be positive about this whole thing, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared. I'm
Well,
scared to
let's
take
get
it.
because we want to keep with the integrity of the show. So we got about 1 or 2 minutes to make our closing thing, closing statements. You know, mine. Growth and understanding occurs in the gray area. See you next time. Godspeed.
All right. Who's next? I'm a girly girl.
I'm just gonna say I felt very inspired by y'all tonight, and that don't always happen. Usually it's an argument. You know,
Hey, just stick to the
it's an
positive. Stick
argument.
to the
I
positive.
usually leave off of here like a half a pound lighter because I done got so mad I was sweating and shit. And y'all, you know, these two down here are my fingers in the right place.
Yeah.
Y'all preached tonight, and it was, I felt very inspired by what you had to say. Even you, Herb.
Thank you.
I just find myself pleasantly pleased with you tonight, and I'm not really sure how to handle that. I'm conflicted, but it was wonderful to hear your journey. And Sharia, you always speak the truth, but this particular time, I just heard so much more of you. And you've talked about your journey with your parents before. I don't know why this time it moved me in a different way, but it was just wonderful to hear. I am so taken and smitten with your independence, and I'm an independent woman too, but your free spirit just, you know, just moves me.
Well,
And I love
appreciate
that.
girl.
Anita, I hope you get better, stronger, and
Thank
all
you.
that. You were quiet up here tonight. I don't know if we just wouldn't let you get a word in edgewise, but I always love to hear you speak too. I really was fully expecting to see you in your ugly sweater, and you know, you disappointed me. And you know, I was ready for it tonight, and I didn't
I ain't
get
even
it.
do
But
y'all like that. I wouldn't go
yeah,
do y'all
but
like
it was
I
it was
mean, he took the
wonderful
time to
tonight.
match the hat this time. So
Yeah,
kudos for that.
I really think that these topics that you guys are coming up with, especially when it speaks to self-love, is so much more positive than the things that we talk about. And even though we break off into negative conversations, I think what he's doing right now, I'm really feeling that. I am really, really feeling that. And I hope he finds other ways to keep these types of conversations going whenever we start off talking about how we feel about ourselves versus how we feel about, you know, raggedy men, raggedy women. The conversations tend to move more smoothly to me. That's just my opinion. So, you know, love y'all. See y'all next week.
I love you
Love you
too.
too.
Love you
Who's
too.
next?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
I appreciate you guys listening to my story, my journey, and the encouraging words, because I have my really bad days where I'm just like, fuck it all. I can't do it, but I try. And coincidentally, February 12th, which is the anniversary of my death alive date, is this Friday. This February 12th is my stress test for my cardiac rehab. So it's weird how that happens, and I'm just glad you guys were all, you know, here to listen to my story, because I had a couple. Today and yesterday was 2 bad days for me mentally. It was, you know.
You
So
hang in
thank
there,
you guys,
Please,
and I
Anisha.
love
please
you
know that
guys.
you can reach out that you can
Yep.
reach out if you're having, you know,
You can find us on
some bad day. It
Facebook.
doesn't even matter.
here.
It doesn't matter why, you know, just reach out.
Yep.
Just reach
Thank
out.
you.
You don't have to wait until Mondays, you know. Reese's. Reach out anytime because you don't have to go through these things by yourself. It's not necessary.
And thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
Oh,
y'all.
and Surreal, when you do your little pole dancing lessons, I need to, you know, I never could use a hula hoop growing up. So I know something's not right with me, but, you know, I really am.
Listen, I could never use a hula hoop growing
Girl, I
up
just
neither, but a
can't. I don't
pole, I can go
understand
up and
why. I'm
down
just
on a
stressed
pole.
about
That's,
that. But
listen,
I would
it's very
really like to
simple.
learn.
God.
Feel like I could. Yes, ma'am.
Dave, don't act
So,
like you don't like seeing women go
I'm
around on
here
a pole.
for
You
that.
better stop it.
I'm
Cut it out.
I'm
Cut
here
it
for
out.
that.
It's
I'm
gonna
messing
be
with y'all.
empowering. It's gonna be.
Yes.
It's gonna
I'm
because I
fixing to
can.
get me some hair
So
now.
hold up. So why we gotta wait?
World.
Why we gotta wait a year? And why can't we have increments
because
after
it's the
3 months?
culmination of
6
me turning 50.
Oh.
That's why.
Perfectionist.
It's the culmination of me turning 50.
So don't you
And
want to be
so
evaluated before then?
I don't
No.
need your evaluation.
She lying.
You gotta get free beats.
She
I don't need
lying.
your evaluation. See what I'm
Hey,
saying? They always try to make it so we need I don't need your evaluation. Just
yeah.
like I said, it's gonna be I'm charging for admission. A 50-year-old woman
Show up with
So
some
you
on
gonna
a
start another
pole.
dance account?
Show
I
up with some
listen, I'm gonna
singles.
get what did I tell you? I 2021. I told you that everything that belongs to me, I'm coming for it.
I know
So
that's
I'm
right.
so bad I don't need an OnlyFans page. I'm gonna put that shit right up on Facebook. Go ahead and send this money go ahead and send this money to this Eventbrite and go on and see me kill the game at 50. That's what it's gonna be. That's what it is.
Can't do nothing but respect that. Can't do nothing but respect that. Is those your parting words for the night?
No, they're not. You know my parting words. My parting words remain the same even for 2021 is if you know, check yourself much more than you try to check others, and life is gonna open up for you. And also, you know, fair exchange is no robbery. So, you know, don't be a thief out here. You know.
Girl, yes.
Fair exchange. That's it.
All right.
But yeah.
Latoya?
All right. I mean, in the spirit of tonight, I just want to say, make sure that you give people their flowers while they're here, and let people know how much you love and care for them while they're here, because anything can happen, especially with all that's going on now. So,
All right.
and anybody that ain't trying to be on your bandwagon from the door, shit. And they don't get a
Let them
chance to
fall
come back,
off.
because
Just
then
let them fall
I have
off.
to wonder what you're coming back for. Can't trust everybody, even when they family. So they get the cut. Hey, that's just it. Ain't no do-overs.
I know that's right.
Yeah, and my closing words, it kind of ties in with everything, and I like how piggyback on what Latoya said. It's so true. Give people their flowers while they're here. Is no need. You see too much of that. All of a sudden, when somebody's died, everybody got so much to say and this and that. But you can say these same things when people are living, and you don't know how that could propel them and what level it could take them when you have people speaking to that. Don't wait till people are dead and say, "Oh, this person was this or this person was that." Tell them that right now that you appreciate them and what they mean to you. And hey, I'm guilty of it too. I got to take my own advice with that as well. So I'm not like I'm saying like I do it all the time. We all need to work on that, and that's just real. And we need to get better with that, and we need to think about it. Time isn't forever, and like Rebecca said, and like so many of us said, people is dying off. People are dying off. We need to wake up and just think about that. And I guess the more we put out stuff and the more we express, the more we build allegiance with each other, the better off we could be. And like how Saraya said to Anita, like you don't have to wait to Monday nights. Hit somebody up in their inbox or, ask for their number and say, hey, I'm going through this right now. And it's amazing. It's amazing the power that we have that we can grow. We just got to utilize that stuff. And That's all I gotta say. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate you, Herb, coming with the assessment. Can't wait till next week to see what the hell you got going on. But I'm sure it's gonna bring out good conversation, and hey, let's keep it going. Thursday night, my brother Carlos Muhammad's gonna be on. Normally, I have something out of my book, Cocktail Conversations, but he just wrote a book, Systemic Racism. So he's gonna be a part of the podcast on Thursday. Then hey, Soraya, whenever you want it on Thursdays, you could come and you could talk all about your book and all that stuff on a Thursday night too.
Because Soraya wrote a book, and so yeah, I can't wait until I can't wait until we're talking about that. So yeah, I'm ready. Whatever. So
he's gonna be doing this thing on Thursday, talking about actually. I got so many damn books around here. Before I find right here, okay. Got his book. So we're gonna be discussing that on Thursday. And powerful book, $6. I think last I checked, it was like out of urban poetry books, it probably was like the top 5 new release books out there. So it's out there. We're gonna talk about it, chop it up, see what was on his mind. His big brother's gonna see what's in his younger brother's mind. What's going on, what made him write that book, and any other questions. So feel free to join the panel to come in with questions, and I'm sure he's going to do a couple of poems and stuff like that. So it should be interesting and pretty cool, especially during this time in the climate that we're going through right now. This is very relevant. So with that said, I'm out. We out. See y'all again.
Good night, everybody.
Stay in contact, reach out to people, and we don't have to wait again. Monday nights, whatever. We're here and we have accessibility. So everybody, hey, stay connected.
Bye, y'all.
All right,
Take
good
care.
people.
Bye.
All right, see ya.